Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 81 and as you can see we are currently outside the Mumbo Jumbo ready to start recording another video. And for those of you who are slightly more observant, you may have noticed that we aren't actually on the Hermitcraft server right now. Honestly, if I could be on the server, I would, okay? I would be playing away, standard Hermitcraft episode, we'd be doing all the usual bits and pieces, but sadly, my internet service provider has other ideas. They decided that they don't want me playing on Hermitcraft, or using the internet at all, or watching television, or using the home phone for that matter. Yes, all of those services have been shut down because Virgin Media were doing a little bit of work down the road. They were doing some maintenance bits, and apparently something went wrong, and that means they've had to shut off all of the services for everyone on my road. So none of us are particularly happy. I especially am very unhappy because obviously I'm a YouTuber. I sort of need the internet, and I posted a video about this on the second channel, which was a little bit silly, a very, very silly video indeed. I've also posted a few rants on Twitter, so I'm sure there's some of you that knew about this situation, but for those of you who are new to it, yes, I've got no internet, but I'm still doing a Hermitcraft episode, which could be a little bit strange. This is the first time I've ever recorded a Hermitcraft episode without actually logging onto the server, and you may be sat there thinking, what on earth are we going to be doing today? Well, I've got a pretty cool idea actually. Basically, I have had this idea in my head that I have wanted to build like a little village around the satellite base area. You know, we have the satellite base area with the bomb hole that's covered in glass, the Mumbiosphere or whatever we called it. Well, what I thought we could do is I thought we could build a village around that. So we're going to build like a little village around that sort of area. Obviously the bomb hole will be in the middle and you'll be able to look down into the bottom, but then on the surface right at the top there'll be a bunch of nice houses and it will all look very nice and sweet. And I thought that would be a lot of fun. Now what we're going to be doing today is obviously we're not going to be able to work on it in the Hermitcraft server, but we are going to be able to come up with some ideas as to what we want to build in there. So the different types of houses, the different types of buildings. I don't know. This is what this episode's for, okay? I can't be saying this stuff right at the beginning of the episode because we haven't planned it out. This is what this episode's for, and it should be fairly interesting, I hope. So, as you can see, we have got ourselves a sandstone super flat world. Now, we aren't going to be doing any redstone on here. Instead, we are going to be doing some creative building. Because, of course, as I just mentioned, we're going to be planning out the builds, making sure they all look good. So then, when it comes to actually building this place in Hermitcraft, we can look at this world, go, yes, that's what I'm going to be doing. And then basically copy and paste them from this world into Hermitcraft block by block. That's the way that we're going to be doing things. So, I think the first build that I want to work on is I'm going to be starting things off slow because it's early in the morning and my brain's not working properly. We're going to start off with a small little lodge house type thing. So, I'm just going to take out an area here, set up the size and start gathering up some resources. We're in creative mode. Start picking some resources, the ones that we're going to use for the build itself. So, as you can see here, I have started work on creating a little lodge area, and first impressions are that I don't particularly like the standard wood here, so I think I might actually end up going for spruce wood. You can see that I've actually got a colour palette down at the bottom here. This is all very organised and very, it's much easier to build first off in creative mode than it is in Hermitcraft, but straight away I think that looks a little bit better. We need a little bit of things going on sort of in these sorts of areas, so maybe we'll add a window in there. See, this is what I mean. It's really difficult. I find it really difficult building in Minecraft. I don't know why. It's houses. Houses I really, really struggle with, okay? Anything else, things like the Mumbo Jumbo, for example, I found that fairly easy. Like, the idea came to my head and I knew exactly how I was going to be doing it. A house, though, I guess it's because there's a correct way that it sort of has to look. As in, houses exist in the world, so they need to look sort of like real houses in real life. Whereas the Mumbo Jumbo, I struggle to think of anywhere in real life that looks quite like that thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep working on it. Keep trying to come up with ideas and ways in which I want this to work. But it's probably going to involve revamping quite a bit of what you can see already here. Now, I'm not 100% certain what I've done here, okay? I really don't know what I've done here. First off, let me just head inside. You can see that this build isn't particularly big. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck in some of like the standard bits that are going to be in every single house. So it's going to need a furnace. It's going to need a crafting bench, which isn't called a crafting bench. It's called a crafting table. And then a bed. Where do we want the bed? I suppose we can have like an outside view with the bed there. This little one room house. There we go. Okay, so that is what we've done, and I suppose we should have some stairs running in. So there. Good. Okay. Now, if we take a look here, you can see that I have sort of created I don't know how to say it. I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know if it's modern. It has a slight modern feel to it. I don't know if it might be this, like, full-length window here. That seems like quite a modern feature to have in a house. But I'm actually quite happy with it. I think it looks really, really nice. I think it's quite a sweet little build. It's got nice proportions. It looks quite good. We have this side view here. It sort of bends up like this because originally I was going to do a full pitched roof, as I think you saw in the previous clip. And that ended up being around about this high. And it just looked a little bit silly because the roof was actually higher than the build itself, and that doesn't look particularly good. So I tried out sort of flattening it out, and I like it. I actually quite like it. I'm sort of taking a look around. Obviously, let me know down in the comments section if you like it or not. I'm sure you're going to do that anyway, because there's always people down in the comments section, oh, I hate your builds, or oh, your builds look awesome. You know, it's one or the other. But obviously, I need your feedback on these because I'm not the best builder in the world, but at the minute, I'm pretty chuffed with the way that this looks. I'm going to add a few extra details, maybe a few bushes and things, because I've heard they make builds better. But at the minute, yeah, it's going pretty well. Okay, so I have begun work on the second house now, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to stick to the same theme. So we're going to continue this theme through all of the houses. They're just going to be like slightly scaled up versions of it. And as you can see here, we are working on the new one, and this is the sort of style that we're going for. So the entrance area looks pretty similar to what we have going on over here. You can see that that is the entrance. So we walk through into this way. And then what I thought we'd do is we'd have like a second section of the house, and that will go right the way across here. And is that going to look good with them like that? I actually think it might. Hang on, let me just walk around here, and we need another one of these, and it's going to go right the way up like this. And then we're going to have the cobblestone up at the top there. So that will just be like a hard line going right the way across there. And then behind that, what we can have is we can have the spruce wood. And in theory, I mean, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look terrible. We're going to need to do some messing around with this. Seriously, I've never done any form of like let's build type thing before, so this is completely new to me. But I think that looks okay at the minute. There looks like there's a little bit too much spruce wood going on, so maybe what we could do is we'll take out some of this and perhaps just convert all of that to solid cobblestone there. That looks a tiny bit different anyway. It looks different. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Just carry out this here. And that's going to get to there. This is difficult. This is really difficult to build houses like this one, because then what I thought we could do is I thought we could have like two full-length windows going right the way down here, and we'll place those in like that, and we'll see how that looks there. I mean, it's starting to look... That does look quite good. If we place in the bottom block, how does that look? It looks okay. It looks okay. I'm definitely going to have to do more work on this one. This one's going to be a little bit more challenging, I would say, than the other one that we just did. Perhaps we could even... Yeah, I'm just going to have to play around with this because, as I say, I'm just not particularly brilliant at building, and it's really starting to show here. I'm starting to lose my confidence a little bit in what looks good and things. So, it's going to be a bit of a struggle, this one. Alright, ladies and gents, I can confirm that the big house is causing me a brain ache. It really, really is causing me a brain ache. I've been working on this for about the past half an hour or so, and just fiddling around with different ways of doing things. I don't know. I think it looks okay. Like, it looks alright, but it's just too much going on in this sort of area here. From this angle, it just looks like a big mess of blocks. From here, it looks okay. That's alright. From the side, it's not finished, and then from the back, it's sort of alright. Yeah, in fact, that's absolutely fine right there. That looks like a barn house, to be honest with you. Maybe we could just take out the front part and just have that on both sides and have it as like a big barn. But I mean, I know we can make this work, definitely. There's got to be a way to make this look really, really good. And I think, I mean, how can we do it? How can we do this little section here? There's that way of doing things. That looks okay. I've never tried that before. That actually looks better, I would say, than what I had going on beforehand. So that's a good sign. Obviously, in this section here, what we can do is we can make like a little pond and perhaps like plant a tree so that it covers it covers the build. You know, just hide it away behind a tree. That's the best way to do things. But then we'll add the windows that go in here, and they just go up like that. So that's fine. Even those look a little bit odd. I feel like they need to go 1 block higher, but then they're going to be... They're the tallest windows. I mean, we've only got... Just this build in general is driving me a little bit crazy right now. I think from this side, I don't think that needs windows up at the top. I think the windows are causing a bit of a problem here. But then, now it looks really empty. I suppose we do need to do that. We do need to do that on all the different sections. That's actually helped out that part. Let's see how that looks on this side as well. Yeah, that's made things a little bit better. Okay, I'm starting to be fairly happy with this house. Obviously, it's going to need some work and things, but I think as a prototype design, as a first plan, it's looking okay. Alright, I think I might have fixed the little problem that we're having. Basically, what I've done is I have moved this part, this front section here, across by 1 block. So now this is in line with this, and it all sort of looks a little bit synced up. I've done some fiddling around with this area, and it looks really cool. Also, this being in grass really helps the look of the build. I mean, seriously, I think it's because we're in this sandstone world and you're looking at all of the builds just 100%. It's the only thing that you can see. There's nothing else drawing your attention. As soon as you add something else, it sort of pulls your attention away from the house and everything starts to look a little bit better. So I think the sandstone world is a little bit harsh on these builds, really. But it looks good. I'm actually really chuffed with this build. So now we're going to have to move on to the next one. And I don't know, this build's pretty big. I don't know if I want any houses bigger than this one. So I suppose we're going to do a similar sized house, but it's going to have to be a different design, which could be a little bit tricky. So I've decided to switch things up a little bit with this house, and we have gone just a tiny bit taller. So this house here is a little bit flat. Then this one, in theory, we should be able to get like a 2-story section in this bit, which will be good for space and things, which makes it a much bigger house. And oh, yep, we've got ourselves the first creeper. Thank goodness I'm in creative mode, because otherwise I'll be panicking right there. My brand new house is about to be blown up. But here goes the roof, and let's see how it looks on this slightly taller section of the build. Right. It looks a little bit strange because of the fact that I feel like we should extend these bits out a bit. If that makes any sense. Maybe even get some half slabs and extend it, yeah, a little bit further out, because it feels like it's just one big block, and that looks a little bit odd. So let's do a bit of that. Yeah, that's making it better. Alright, let's try this on the other side as well. I don't really know. I feel like that looks a tiny bit better. I do, and then of course we need this as well. I hadn't done that. I'm sure once we get all of the blocks in, it will start to look okay. But at the minute, it looks a tiny bit awkward. I feel like we might have reached sort of the height limit for this design here. We might be getting to the point where maybe we have to change up the roofs a little bit, make them a little bit taller potentially. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do some playing around. I'm probably gonna do this bit off camera because I struggle to build on camera. I always end up saying odd stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna hop off and do a bit of work here, and then I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Okay, so a few bits have changed, and I think it is for the better, so let me just finish up round here. Do we want any windows in the middle there? Maybe we'll have 2 wide windows like that. Yeah, that looks okay. Right, and then finally the back bits, just finishing up the actual build itself, and then we should be good to go, and I should be able to show you what I've actually got up to. Now, in terms of the windows, I suppose we should match what we have going on over there. That makes sense. Alright, okay, so this is it, and I'm okay with it. I think this house definitely looks better, and I think I still really like this tiny little house here. I mean, it's barely even a house, to be honest with you. It's absolutely tiny, but I really like it. And then this is better, and then this, I think, you know, it's something that is probably going to grow on me. One big thing about these sorts of builds is if we actually chuck in some grass, what I'm going to do is I'll chuck in some grass, and I'll build a little pond, and I'll do some bone mealing down at the bottom here, and trust me, you will see live on camera right here the difference that is going to make. So the grass is going in here. We're just placing in our slightly dead lawn because, of course, we are in a desert. I don't know why they class this as a desert. I suppose it's sandstone everywhere. It sort of is a desert, and it does mean that we never get rain in these worlds, which is super helpful. But then we're going to need some water, and the pond can go sort of here. Now we have to try and create like an organic-ish shape, and then place in the little lake bed here. We're just going to be using grass because nothing too fancy, you know. And then fill it in with water. So there's our little pond, okay? That's looking nice. And then finally, this is the big finishing touch, okay? This is one thing that you can guarantee will make your builds look better. And that is just ridiculous quantities of bone meal, right? And there we go. It hasn't made much of a difference. It still doesn't look quite as good as this one. This looks just a little bit flatter, a little bit nicer. We've got an inhabitant. Whereas this looks a tiny bit more awkward. And I think it could be to do with these windows here. Potentially. There's a little bit too much going on, maybe. Yeah, it needs some playing with. So I've done a bit of fiddling, and this is it. This is it. All it needed was a little bit of a tweak to the windows, and it looks good. Okay, it looks fine. I'm happy with the build. It's my least favourite out of the three. And then this is my middle, and this is my favourite for some bizarre reason. I don't know why I'm going for that one. But yeah, that is the set. The entire set, we've got small, medium, and biggish, which is good stuff. So that means that we can now start work and throw them into the actual village on Hermitcraft. Though unfortunately, I don't have any internet. So what I thought we could do instead is I thought that we could do some of the other slightly smaller builds that are going to be going into the village. Because of course, you know, you can't just have houses, okay? You can't just have houses. You have to have other stuff. So I thought we could build some shopping carts. I thought we could build some barbecues. Thought we could build some wishing wells. And also a post box. Because a mail system is so important in a village. Because everyone in villages is really old and doesn't know how to use the internet. So they all still send letters. So we need ourselves a post box. So yeah, that's what we're going to work on over here now. So guys, the first build is done. And this thing is actually really quite cool. I'm pretty happy with this. It's inspired by a concept that was posted on the Minecraft subreddit. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I don't honestly know, but it's basically a little wishing well design. Now, the design that was featured on Reddit was in the wall. I thought I would mix things up a little bit and create like a wishing fountain. But as you can see here, if we just chuck in some gold, we get ourselves a golden bar. Yes, I know, it's a bit of a stingy wishing well, but there it is. That's how it works. You just chuck in the item and then you get the gold bar. And as you can see, if it comes out and lands back in the hopper, for example, if we try and chuck in a gold ingot, it won't go into there. It has to be a golden block, and then you only get a golden bar out. So I think it's a really, really cool little design. Obviously, it's not foolproof. People can just go in that dropper there and take out all the items, but that's no fun, okay? The whole point of this is that it's meant to be a fun little build, and I would like to place this in our little village area. I think that would be a really cool thing to add in. And obviously also, if you do for some reason want a tutorial on this little build, like if it gets requested a lot, then of course I'll be happy to do one because it's extremely simple. Maybe I could do like multiple designs in one different video. That could be a good way of doing things. But yeah, it's extremely simple and it works quite nicely. It's a nice little feature. So ladies and gentlemen, I have been doing a little bit of work here. As you can see, I have now added in this. Now this is the shopping area. I don't know what to call it. A shopping cart, a shopping stand, a stall, a market stall. There we go. I think we got there in the end. But as you can see, we've got some item frames out the back, and they have got flowers in them. And I'm going to be honest, I had no idea any of these flowers actually existed. You know, I had no idea that we had orange flowers. That really took me by surprise. What other ones are there? There's a few others. I knew about those ones. Those are the 2 high ones. But I just didn't know about these little guys. So yeah, the flower shop is stocking flowers that I never even knew existed. Another thing that I've just noticed as well is, of course, I'm not Mumbo at the minute. That's something that I quickly noticed when I was looking at my inventory there. Yeah, it's really annoying. Obviously, because I don't have the internet, the skin server can't be accessed. So I'm looking a little bit more ginger and a little bit more girly than I usually am. But we're going to be working with it because here is our village. This is it. This is all of the builds that we are going to be doing for the minute. I did try my best to work on a post box. That didn't go very well. And I tried my best to work on a barbecue, but that also didn't go very well. I'm awful at the detail stuff. And generally speaking, if I'm stuck with something, I would go on the internet and look up some designs. But obviously, I can't really do that. I could do it on my phone using 4G, but it's so small and so impossible to look at that instead I've decided to freestyle it. So all of these builds here, they're completely freestyled, not using any design cues or anything like that. And as I've mentioned many times, they're not the best things in the world, but I am fairly happy with the outcome. So this is what our village is going to end up looking like, and I hope it ends up looking okay. And also, I hope that my internet comes back on Friday. If it doesn't, I will be extremely upset. I refuse to do another offline episode of Hermitcraft. That being said, this has been a lot of fun, and I hope that you have enjoyed this slightly mismatched little mix-up of an episode because I found it quite enjoyable. But anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, please sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.